Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 3. Now we would like to present about derivation in English and 3 Indonesian local languages, which is Sasaknese, Sumbawanese, and Japanese. But before we start our presentation, let us introduce ourselves first. Start from the right.
I am Hailun Linda as the third speaker, and I'm Wilda Ayu Hari Jumaini as the second speaker.
I'm Rafi Ameliawati as a fourth speaker.
I'm Nurul Ripani Prameswanti as the last speaker.
I'm Siti Rosliana as the fourth speaker.
Okay, now let's start our presentation. For the first speaker, time and place are yours.
The first material is introduction. Morphology is explained as a branch of linguistics that focus on morphemes and the process of word formation. According to Verhaar, 1984, morphology studies how words are formed, while Yusuf 2008 emphasized that it also examines both lexical and grammatical meanings. In this field, morphemes are considered the smallest unit, and words are the largest unit. One of the most important processes in morphology is derivation. Hermanto 2008 states that derivation is an affixation process that produces new words and causes changes in word class. Boych 2010 further explains that derivational forms can be divided from different base forms such as nouns, verbs, or adjectives. Therefore, this study aims to compare how derivational processes work in four languages: English, Sasak, Sumbawa, and Japanese, and identifies their similarities and differences.
Okay, in this slide, I will explain the research method used in the study. First, the participants are native speakers of 3 Indonesian local languages, Sasaknese, Sumbawanese, and Javanese. And for the data collection, we use 2 sources. First is English textbooks, English for Change. We took 10 word example were taken from text, dialogue, and exercise. And the second sources is interview with native speaker. This interview conducted to verify the meanings and confirm the accuracy of the word example in each regional language, then compared with English.
Okay, the next is findings. So from the textbook and the interview, we already collect the data for our analysis. The first English derivations from the SMA textbook. So for the first 5 words, we identified the words teacher, information, education, actively, and sustainable. We already broke each word into its morphemes, and all of them use derivational suffixes. They show clear word class changes. For example, teach to teacher, inform to informations, and active to actively. This word demonstrate how English commonly builds new vocabulary through suffixations. Okay, for the next 5 words, we also analyze their morphemes. So most items still use suffixes such as ation, ness, and ion. One example is mass communications combines both prefix and a suffix. Overall, the second group continues to show that English derivations in the textbook is strongly suffix-based. Okay, next look at the derivation in 3 local languages. For Sasak, we analyzed 3 examples, Bekalambi, Petakut, and Nyapu. All of them use prefixes, not suffixes. B changes a noun into a verb, P creates causative verbs, and the nasal prefix nya turns nouns into verbs. This shows that Sasak derivation is mainly prefix-based, forming action and causative verbs. And for Sumbawa, we examine Serea, pemopo, and sepanas. Again, the language mostly uses prefixes such as se and pe. Se forms causative verbs while pe forms nouns from verbs. The pattern shows that Sumbawa derivation focuses on causative formations and nominalization through prefixation. And for Japanese, the words biji, enggambar, and pamikir show strong use of nasal prefixes like and ang, as well as the agentive prefix pa. These prefixes changes noun into verbs or verbs into agent nouns. So Japanese derivation is also prefix based with nasal assimilation playing a key role. Okay, next, how derivation work in English versus local languages. First, let's look at how derivation works in English. English mainly uses suffixes like er, ion, nes, and li to form new words and often change the word class. For example, teach becomes teacher, active becomes actively, and create becomes creations. English also has prefixes like miss and this, but this usually change meaning rather than the word class. So overall, English derivation is mostly suffix based. Now the local languages. The first in Sasak, derivation uses prefixes like be and pe and nye to form action and causative verbs. For example, kelambi become bekelambi means to wear clothes, takut become petakut means to frighten, and sapu become nyapu means to sweep. In Sumbawa, the local language use se and pe to form causative verbs and nouns. For example, ria becomes ria means to enlarge, mopo become pemopo means laundry, and panas becomes sepanas means to heat. In Japanese, common prefixes include ang, and nya, and pa. These form verbs and agent nouns such as gambar become a gambar to draw, biji becomes biji means to score, and mikir become pamikir means tinker. Okay, next, similarities, differences between English and three local languages. So the first, let's look at the similarities. First, all local languages, English, Sasak, Sumbawa, and Japa, use affixation as the main way to create new words. They simply add a prefix or suffix to change the meaning. Second, all of the languages allow word class changes, for example, turning a noun into a verb or a verb into nouns. And third, all languages use derivation to express related ideas such as actions, processes, agents, and results. And in every language, the meaning of the affix is systematic, so speaker can predict the functions like er in English and pa in Japanese both means a person who. So overall, derivation helps expand vocabulary in all languages. Next, the differences. The biggest difference is the type of affixes used. English mainly uses suffixes, while Sasak, Sumbawa, and Japanese mostly use prefixes. This is the most important contrast. Next, the local languages have nasal assimilation with prefix like eng, nya, and an, changing based on the first sounds of the root. English has no nasal assimilation in its derivational systems. English also forms abstract nouns using Latin-based suffixes such as ion, men, and nes. Meanwhile, the local languages rely on native prefixes like pe, pa, or se to express action or result nouns. And finally, in terms of negation, English uses derivational prefixes such as mis, this, and an. Local languages do not use prefixes for negations. Instead, they use separate words like ende in Sasak, ora in Japa, and enda in Sumbawa.
On this slide, I explain how derivation works across four languages: English, Sasak, Sumbawa, and Javanese. Although these languages come from different linguistic families, they all share one similarity. Each of them uses derivation to create new words and to change word classes. They also rely on affixation, especially prefixes, to form meanings such as adjective, causative, or action-related forms. However, each language also has unique characteristics. English mainly uses suffixes like li, and shen, and the patterns are highly systematic. Sasak, on the other hand, use a lot of verbal prefixes such as p, and ny, making it very productive in turning nouns into verbs. In Sumbawa, the prefix se functions as a causative marker, while p helps form nouns from form verbs. Meanwhile, Javanese is known for its nasal prefixing like and and the prefix pa creates adjunctive nouns similar to the English suffix Overall, even though these languages are different affixes, they all show the derivation is a universal morphological process.
Okay, now is in conclusions, derivations in English, Sasak, Sumbawa, and Javanese show that all of these languages use affixation to create new words and develop richer meanings. Even though the languages use different kinds of affixes, the purpose is the same: to express ideas related to actions, results, causations, and the people who perform those actions. English mainly uses suffixes such as er or iant to form new word classes. Meanwhile, the local languages depend more on prefixes, like Sasak commonly use b and ny to form verbs. Sumbawa use se to create causative verbs and p to form nouns. And Javanese features nasal prefix like and ny, along with the negative prefix pa. These patterns show that although each language has unique morphological characteristics, the derivation remains a systematic and productive way to build vocabulary across all four languages.
Okay guys, that's all from us. Thank you for watching, and the last we say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.